I'm Michele Nevarez. I'm absolutely honored to be here today with all of you, and we're going to do a bit of a practice session now. So Dr. Goldman eloquently explained the different competencies, and we're going to basically slow it down to certain practices that we can do on a moment-to-moment basis to strengthen emotional intelligence. So Dr. Goldman and I and his son Hanuman Goldman, who couldn't be here today, started working together about 4 years ago with the aspiration of democratizing EI and making it accessible to more than just the upper echelons of leaders. And so, but we are all leaders in our own lives in many different ways. And our second goal really was to take what we understand intellectually about emotional intelligence and begin to apply it. Because while the intellect is a gateway to understanding, it is not the same as doing a thing or practicing a thing. So we'll consider this our practice session for today. I'll introduce you to several practices that will strengthen some of the foundational skills of emotional intelligence that Dr. Goldman spoke about earlier. So let's go on this journey. How many of you have done a body scan before? Okay, that's most everybody. We're going to do one now. I'll lead you in this. All right, so in the same way that Dr. Goldman led us through a brief mindfulness practice, I'd ask that you take a seat and have your feet on the floor. Take kind of a dignified posture, kind of like I'm waking up, rousing yourself. All right, you can gently shut your eyes if you like, or just look at a 45-degree angle down. And I'll just take you through a brief practice here of a body scan. So gather the threads of your attention, wherever they might be right now. Maybe they're thinking about all the things you need to do, or that you need to go to the bathroom, or that you don't have water, these kinds of things. And just pull in the threads of your attention. Take a deep breath in, and exhale any kind of feeling you might have of stress or carrying things. You can just set that backpack down, so to say, of all the things you might be worrying about. I'd like you to bring your focus to your breath. However you find it in your body, and breathe naturally. You might perceive it to be in or out, or up and down. But just breathe naturally. And while you do this, notice where your attention is at. Just notice the fact that you have the capacity to be aware. Just notice that in yourself right now. And we're going to move that awareness along to different places in your body, starting with your feet. Just notice how your feet meet the floor, how that feels. You can wiggle your toes if you like, to get a sense of your feet and your shoes. And then move your awareness up from your feet to your ankles. And now your calves. And as you do this, just notice the quality of your awareness and your ability to pay attention, in this case, to how you're feeling physically. And bring your awareness to your knees and your thighs. Notice the weight of your body as you sit on your chair. And from there, notice your shoulders and your arms and your midsection. As you breathe in and out, you can feel your ribs move in and out. And you bring attention to your arms and your hands and your fingers. You can wiggle your fingers if you like. And bringing your attention to Now your neck, noticing any tension, just lift your shoulders and drop them. You can do that a few times if you like. And then bring your attention to your scalp and your head, and then the very top of your head. And just let your awareness rest throughout your body. Envision just, you've gone through this wakening up your senses. And take a deep breath in, and exhale, and come back to center. How was that? Was that grounding? It was for me. That's why I did it. Partially. Okay, so here are the Sustainable Development Goals, okay? There are a lot of them, and they're very ambitious, and they're the right goals. And when I started thinking in preparation for being here and talking to you about emotional intelligence and how we can build our capacity in emotional intelligence, I thought, what do these have in common? And I thought and thought about it, and then I thought, well, it actually requires a global mindset. And in order to achieve these, we actually have to prioritize the well-being of others as much as our own and our closest family members, if not more so. And that is the crux of succeeding at these, is having the belief that that's important to do it, and B, the understanding of our interconnectedness. Because a lot of these things are actually possible now, but there's some gap in our ability to mobilize and do them, both because they're complex and there's a certain amount of creativity involved and scale that is quite significant. But I'm going to spend the next little while talking about this concept of what it means to all be connected on a profound level like we are. So I also thought, what do the sustainable goals and emotional intelligence have in common? And I thought that it's something similar when you're trying to build a new habit. You have to know what it is you're doing and how to do it. It has to be something that's actually doable. We have to do the doable things. And it has to be repeatable. And then finally, we have to be able to course correct when there are shifts and changes, which there always are. There always are. So we have to be nimble. And when it comes down to it, this is the same, really, when you're developing emotional intelligence, just like the practices we're introducing to you now. Okay? So like Dr. Goleman said, emotional intelligence basically comes down to you, your emotions, how you handle them, and how you care for others, and how you react to other people's emotions as well. They become the gateway to developing our positive human qualities. They give us something to anchor to, and they're an evidence-based framework that allows us to tap into our positive qualities and that which is who we are when we are at our best. And in a nutshell, that is emotional intelligence. Yes, there are all these competencies, and it can be a little overwhelming to think, well, where do I start? And that's why we start talking about the foundational skills of emotional intelligence, which we'll go into here in a minute. So if we were to apply emotional intelligence to the sustainable goals, what might that look like? What might be possible? Well, let's see. Let's take a look.
Get off my, get the hell off my cap! Move, 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 move! Hey! You cut me off! me stuck on this light forever, your mother. Oh, man. What is wrong with you? Hey! Get off!
I didn't steal anything!
Hey, man!
break
Get
things.
your hands off my damn son!
The people let
You
the kids
people?
around here
What?
like wild animals.
Wild animals, you come in my neighborhood trying to
You
take
come to
over.
my store.
Come, we got back.
Where did you learn to speak like this? Your father, he never blew the horn once. You're so hot-tempered.
So I am hot-tempered, so please just let's drop it.
I did not raise you that way.
Leave me alone.
Beta, take a breath. Breathe. The people let the kids run around here low and try to steal
You
things.
better back the hell off.
Oh, what, huh? Breathe. One more time.
All my friends, brothers and sisters, please keep your own mind, your own heart more compassionate, sense of concern of others' well-being. Best present of my birthday.
So I can never see that without crying or just feeling that emotion and that feeling of wetness. We need to do that more, actually. And what is it at the heart, ultimately, of emotional intelligence? I would argue it's our personal agency and our global agency. And the way I would define that is that our personal agency is that which we have influence over within ourselves, the possibility anyway of influencing. And our global agency is our capacity to positively impact the lives of others. That's what we need to ignite. So how do we do that? How do we unlock our personal and global agency? Well, as we're talking about it, it is through the foundational skills of emotional intelligence. But when we look at it and we really break it down at like I own this. Where is my piece? Where is my part? Where do we find our agency? We find it right now in the present moment. There is no other moment in which we can ignite our agency. We have that opportunity now, and the next now, and the next now after that. And that's both very daunting because we have to do it a lot and consistently, but we also have the opportunity to practice a lot. And when we don't succeed, we can try the next moment. But it comes down to recognizing our agency in that moment. And if you look back to the film, right, not only does it happen in the present moment, but we have a momentum with our emotions and our thoughts and our beliefs, and they move imperceptibly, but they impact everybody else around us, like you could see in that video. And so at the same time we're creating the momentum for ourselves, it comes into the intersection of everybody else's momentum. And that is the ripple effect. And if we miss the opportunity in the present moment because we don't see those little moments of spaces or gaps between what occurs to us and then how we respond, then we miss our opportunity for agency, let alone global agency, right? And so the training, the thought is that with practices like Dr. Goleman showed us of awareness of breath, or the practice I did around the body scan, which basically allows you to understand and identify and locate in your body how are emotions manifesting, because our bodies are usually our first sign that emotions are present. And if we can get into the habit of noticing how we feel, then that's our cue. We get a little bit more buffer zone that next time somebody cuts us off in traffic or we get frustrated. The other thing that we see occurring a lot these days because of the stress, this power stress that we're all, kind of experiencing in our lives. Okay, I just have to have some water. It makes it tougher when we're experiencing stress to be able to notice the moments. They just go by us like a fast car. So I want to experiment here. Think about your morning. Everything that you did from the time you woke up to right now, just take a second and kind of visualize for yourself. What were those moments for you today before you got here? Just take a few seconds and just think about your morning. Maybe it was an amygdala hijack. Maybe it was your dreams. You woke up and you had sort of some emotional valence from your night before. Think about where were those moments, those salient moments, decision points, where you could have done exactly what you did or something different. That's a very powerful thought, because think about if everybody woke up every day with the intention that they're going to notice those moments where they have the capacity to make an impact. Wow, that's a lot of moments. And we each can actually do that. And that is what the work is about for us as humans, I think. And it doesn't really stop, it just keeps going. And so that's the opportunity. We're going to do a practice together. How many of you have heard just like me or done just like me? We're going to do that now together. And so for those of you who are tuning in remotely, I'd like you just to visualize someone in front of you. Maybe it's someone you care about. Maybe it's a coworker or a family member. But those of you who are here, what I'd like you to do is stand up. And I want you to find a partner. Just turn to whoever's by your side. If there's not an even number, just do 3. And I'm going to guide you through this practice, okay? Okay, I want you to introduce yourself briefly to each other. Okay? Maybe I should have been more specific. Okay. So now I'm going to ask you if you're comfortable. If I know, I should have given better instructions. All right. So I'm going to ask you if I could only whistle, but I can't. I'm going to ask if you feel comfortable keeping your eyes open while you do this. That's the best thing. But if you don't, that's also okay. So just face each other in a comfortable distance from one another. And I'm going to read, and you're not going to repeat me necessarily. Mentally, yes, you're going to repeat me, but I'm going to be the only one talking here, or you won't be able to hear me. Okay. So, all right. So become aware that there is a person in front of you, a fellow human being just like you. Now silently repeat these phrases while looking at your partner silently. This person has a body and a mind just like me. This person has feelings and emotions and thoughts just like me. This person has in his or her life experienced physical and emotional pain and suffering just like me. This person has at some point been sad, disappointed, angry, or hurt just like me. This person has felt unworthy or inadequate just like me. This person worries and is frightened sometimes just like me. And this person has longed for friendship just like me. This person is learning about life just like me. And this person wants to be caring and kind to others just like me. They want to be content with what life has given. They want to be free from pain and suffering. This person wishes to be safe and healthy just like me. And they want to be happy and loved. Now allow for some wishes for well-being to arise and have the thought, I wish that this person have the strength, the resources, and social support to navigate the difficulties in life with ease. I wish that this person be free from pain and suffering, that they be peaceful and happy. And I wish this person be loved because this person is a fellow human being just like me. And after a few moments, thank your partner, bow, or whatever way feels appropriate.
You're almost there.
Perfect. All right, bye, Dan. Okay. Thanks. So what did you think? I think you liked it. So how often do we take even just that little time to connect with each other and to really look at somebody and look in their eyes and have that feeling of they are just like me? And we need to do that more. We need to get wet inside. If we stay like the rock at the bottom of the river and inside that rock is always dry, then we didn't do our jobs. We need to allow ourselves to get a little wet and emotional sometimes and connect. Okay, I'm running a little long, and so Dan, Dr. Goldman, sorry, I had a hard time initially calling him Dan when I first started working with him, but Dr. Goldman did a fabulous job explaining the competencies. I certainly couldn't do a better job, so I won't. And just to remind you, the foundational skills allow us the capacity to find those moments where we can exercise that choice of how we're going to show up at our best. And the more we do that, the more often we can do that. And if you do nothing else, that's what it is. I mean, make it simple for yourself. If you can do nothing else other than that. Do the doable things. And when we activate our personal and global agency, we can choose our thoughts and our actions and how we show up for ourselves and other people, and we're more intentional. And so with that, I thank you for your time.
Thank you, Michele, and thank you, and for Dr. Goldman's presentation as well. A couple of points. I think Dr. Goldman used the wonderful phrase self-awareness. And I remember once talking to a representative from a new member of the United Nations, and she said to me, when we got our independence, we secured our identity. When we joined the United Nations, we were able to express our self-awareness. And I think the points that Dr. Goldman made about how individuals sometimes feel a little lonely or unappreciated, not heard, go for nation states as well. The idea of other people taking credit for your work when a country exports its primary resources to a manufacturing country, and it is a manufacturing country that gets the credit rather than the source of the commodity, that is, to use your wonderful phrase, Michele, an expression of how the global agency and the personal agency